Hey guys, welcome back. And I know it's been a minute, but I've had a lot going on, guys. And so in this video, sorry, as I pull up my sleeves, in this video, we're going to be talking about homeschool and homeschooling on the autism spectrum and everything that I am doing as mom and caregiver and teacher, to help make this educational time for my kids as positive as possible, and also just make sure we are laying the foundation for them academically, because really we don't know if we are going to put them back into public school. We don't know what the future holds for this nation, our world, my health. And so I want to make sure that if that is the case, that we do eventually put them back into public school, that when they go back, they will be at pace or above where they are expected to be. So with that all being said, this is now week 2 of homeschooling for my family, and I have 2 kids. The youngest is in 1st grade, and the oldest is in 7th grade. Now, we are here in Georgia. That is the designations that they would have if they were in public school, but we are homeschooled. And so, and they're special needs. So with that being said, they are not at grade level for every single subject. They weren't at grade level for every single subject when they were in public school. So I'm not expecting them to be at grade level with everything when they're in mommy's school. So with my daughter, we are teaching middle grades, 5th, 6th, and 7th grade, and a little early 8th grade. But we are studying mostly 5th, 6th, and 7th grade level work because that is where she is. And I want to, you can hear them in the background because we're on break. I want to meet her needs. It would be irresponsible of me as a parent to be like, okay, I want you to do this 7th grade level work when you don't even have a 5th grade comprehension of the work that is expected. So there's a lot of things that we have to kind of start from the beginning. Now, both of my kids were on IEPs, and with the IEP, you didn't have to show mastery, you just had to show effort. You had to show progress. Okay, well, now that I'm homeschooled, I'm seeing y'all was just passing my baby. Like, she don't know any of this stuff. Y'all expect her to be able to write papers because she's 7th grade, and we're still working on basic grammar. So that is where we're at with our homeschool. And so with all of that being said, and my little one is the same way. Like, there's some things that he's really advanced in, but some of the basics, he still needs that kindergarten level help or 1st grade level help. So with him, we're doing primary grades, and primary grades is pretty much kindergarten 1st and 2nd. Okay. So they just had lunch. We are on a big break. We do homeschool in the morning. The schoolroom will normally open up around 8:30 because if I let them in earlier, it will be a disaster. So I normally open up the schoolroom about 8:30. All right. I just said y'all too loud. And she's like, sorry. And they just go back to doing their thing. But that's, the joys of homeschool. So in any event, the little one's doing primary grades. The older one is doing middle grades. And the beauty of homeschool is that I can meet them wherever their need is, as opposed to just rushing them through. So as we began, I had actually sat down and wrote out a schedule for homeschool because we are schooling all year round. So that is 16 months from September of 2021 to December of 2022. That is 16 months of schooling. And that is how I'm breaking it down, because for me, it is just easier to go from the top of the year to the bottom of the year. But then we have this little end of 2021, and 2021 needs to go somewhere. It needs to end, guys. So let me show you my calendar. So this is mommy's notebook, okay? So I have these pre-made tabs, these homemade tabs, because I knew if I was like, babe, I want some more money for the homeschool room, he would head would twist off, y'all. His head would twist off. So I'm going to show you my schedule, guys. It is, can you see that? A 16-month schedule. Right? We're in session 1. So we're looking at early world history, math, vocabulary, logic and social skills. So that's critical thinking. That is like how we interact with each other, whether if we're playing games or we're out in public, just building social and communication skills with each other. And our writing theme for session 1 is mysteries. So we're going to be doing a lot of mysteries. We're going to learn about mysteries. How can we use them to make observations, to, do some fact finding? How do we write our own mysteries? So that is kind of where our language arts and writing and vocabulary and grammar is all coming in. So what I did is pretty much our schedule is broken down into 2-month long sessions for the most part. There are a few that are 1-month sessions, but most of them are 2-month sessions. And I find that, okay, early world history, let's break that down, because if I, as a parent who is not a teacher, my background is interior design, if I look at all of this curriculum that I have on this tower back here, it's overwhelming, guys. And so I'm like, how do I break it down so I'm not overwhelmed? Because if I'm overwhelmed, my kids are going to be overwhelmed, and they don't need no help, y'all, to be overwhelmed. So I broke everything down. So we'll do the first section of early world history. What is history? How do we study it? Why do we study it? Let's look at the early civilizations. Sumeria, Mesopotamia, ancient Egypt. And then let's continue, and then when we go to session 2, we can go to the next set of civilizations. And then when we move to session 3, we'll go to the next set of civilizations, So let's just focus on the beginning of history and the first few civilizations that we have documentation of. Okay, and that's it. Let's keep it simple. Keep it simple. All right. So with that being said, that's my master plan. But we know life happens. Okay, y'all know, if you follow me, I've been in and out the doctor's office, and I still got more appointments, so what I love about homeschool, and even homeschooling, children on the spectrum, is that even though, yes, they need structure, and we have a loose structure that kind of works for them, I can schedule class around my doctor's appointments. Oh, okay, you got 5 doctor's appointments this week? Okay, vacation, I gotta have my doctor's appointments. Oh, okay, it's thunderstorming outside. Maybe we don't do school in the park. Maybe we stay here and we have a light work day, And so that is the beauty. So this, I am not a schedule keeper. I do not work well with the planner, guys, but I'm like, I want to do better this year. So this is my planner. It's just a simple 2021-2022 calendar. Okay. And this is what I have. Now, the beauty about this is, even though it's all written in ink, I could change stuff up. I done scribbled and rewritten things, guys. And my notes here say, total rework of schedule, staying flexible because of my health. My health requires me to be flexible. Even this week, even though we only have classes in the morning time, like my health has not allowed me to do morning classes 2 days this week. And so I had to push classes back to like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So we went from 3 to dinner time. And then once dinner hit, all right, you're done for today. But that's the beauty of homeschooling, And I kind of, in setting up the schoolroom, tried to make it as fun as possible so they actually enjoy being here. They might not enjoy the work I give them, but they enjoy being in the schoolroom. So we do keep a weekly schedule, and it does change from time to time. I also keep, and this is just for me, and it's also just for the kids to kind of have a heads up of what we're doing this week. Okay? This is what we will do. We're going to learn about history. We're going to read some stories. We're going to learn some vocabulary. Okay? We're going to play Prodigy. All right. So we do this. I put this on the cork board, which is right in front of me. You guys can't see. And so there's one for each week. So that way, I don't have to necessarily lug out my big, thick binder. And I can see, all right, this week, we are going to continue to learn about history, historical records, and early civilizations. Check. We did that. We're going to learn how to search for clues and important facts. Check. We did that. Begin the basics of grammar. We did not do that. So we'll roll that into next week, And that's okay, because that is the beauty of homeschool. My daughter said, Mommy, I didn't finish my work. I said, that's the beauty of homeschool. You can turn it in when I tell you, without getting in trouble. So, in any event, how do I teach my kids? So you saw my schedule. Okay, you kind of know my philosophy of how I approach teaching my kids. So this is just what was at hand. This is a test book for my daughter. They had assessments today. And I use the word assessment as opposed to test because the word test freaks them out. They still freak out with an assessment, but not so much. So an assessment, most times my assessments, even though I review them, I don't necessarily grade them. Okay. And so I just want to see what you know. So we have spent the last week and a half studying history. Tell me what you know. What have you learned? Between the lessons, the videos, the worksheets, what has been ingrained here? My daughter got most of her tests correct from the book. And then some of the additional stuff she got wrong. So we got more work to go over, but at least I know what areas I need to recover. So we do assessments. So I have a collection of curriculum. So because half of it was free, and 2, because again, I need to meet my kids where they're at. I can't go and buy a box of all 7th grade, all 1st grade. I did that last year. We wound up not using it because I learned during the process of homeschooling last year that doesn't work for my kids. They weren't ready for a lot. Like we couldn't even do the language arts because they are expecting for 6th grade for her to know how to write reports. She doesn't know how to do that. So we're studying that now. So in the tower, we have the top shelf here is all of my resources. My answer keys, my parent teacher guides, social skill activities, just books for me and records for the kids. This next shelf that you can see here is my daughter's schoolwork. So it is a combination, again, of 5th, 6th, and 7th grade work. She And then the next shelf is my son's work. And then we have a shelf of books. And at the bottom, there is a sensory bin. There are games, our Lego bucket, and our stuff for STEAM. Okay? Now, we teach, by we, I mean me, we teach family style. So while I have a 7th grader, middle school, and a 1st grader, elementary school, they're all getting the same subject. But the way that I assess them and the way that I give assignments is going to be grade appropriate. So we are studying early world history, which is 6th grade. My son is not 6th grade, but he is studying history, and I expect him to know what is history. I expect him to know the different types of historical records there are. I expect him to know how to read a timeline. BC, AD. I want you to plot these years onto the timeline. Now, I'm not going to be as detailed with my kindergarten, my 1st grader, as I am with my 7th grader, but you need to know the basics. And that is kind of what I do. So they each have, let's see. Let me see. Not in there. Ooh, my shoulder, guys. I'm getting old. Ooh. There we go. Here we go. Okay, so here's my son. This is his, History and Language Arts. His notebook. Don't have to tear nothing out. Mommy will write your assignments in here. Can you match the category with the example? Can you write? Can you trace? Can you tell me what's going on? Okay. He doesn't like to write. You need to write. Tell me. Write the word. I'll give you a word bank, but I want you to know. Do you know what history is? The same thing. This is his language arts as well. We do language arts together. So right now we are reading a 1st grade level book. But my daughter has a list of like 6 to 10 questions. Tell me about the characters. Tell me about the story. What happened? How would that make you feel? What was the problem? How was it solved? You know, can you explain to me the relationship between character A and character B? That's what my middle schooler got to do. My little one just needs to be able to say, can you color a picture of the characters? Okay, can you count how many pancakes? That's one of the things that we just did, you know, like, can you write these vocabulary words that came from the story? Can you draw me a picture of what happened in the story? That's what my little one's doing. Same story, different type of schoolwork. And so I approach every single subject like that, you know. And we started doing that last year. It worked really well. But I just have to make sure that I give them the same amount of work. Different work, but the same amount. So I don't want my 7th grader to feel like, oh man, mommy got me working here at the table for a whole hour. It ain't that long, but it takes them that long. So I want to make sure that I got enough to keep the little one busy for that same length of time. So that means, you know, and that's factoring in wiggle breaks, bathroom breaks. Oh, I need to go to the sensory box. Oh, you know, I'm hungry. Let me go get a snack. Like all of that is factored in, you know. So we only cover about 2 subjects a day, plus some little intermediate stuff. But we only do about 2 subjects a day because that's really all their attention span can take. We finish our 2 subjects, we break for lunch, and then they have the rest of the day for quiet time, for not so quiet time. And then we might do some fun stuff back in the schoolroom later on in the afternoon. Just depends on how I'm physically feeling. It's a lot, guys. It's a lot. We incorporate book work, workbook work, and games into our schoolwork. Okay? So with Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all. First of all, this game was so hard to find. I found it and they had literally just got the shipment in. I've been searching for it for forever. Nobody has it. But you got to meet kids where they're at. Okay? My kids love to game. They love to play. They don't do well having to sit at the table for 2 and 3 hours. So I have to break stuff up for them. So with Pokemon, my little one, who's a really kinesthetic learner, he doesn't do well. I limit his workbook. Like, I give him work, but I don't give him as much as my daughter, because I know he's going to take more breaks. So I need to make sure I pad that time and allow the breaks into that time. But he can't sit and do the type of work that my daughter does. It ain't going to end well. But he'll learn through play. He's little. He'll learn through play. So with Pokemon, what do you get to learn? He has to read to me. He has to calculate damage, which is math. He has to follow the rules and play nice and play fair, which is social skills. He has to learn strategy, which is logic. So I'm like, we're hitting 4 different subjects in that one game. He might not realize he's learning, but there is a strategy behind the games that I have picked to go into our schoolroom. We have the game of life. The game of life we're really going to dig into once we get into home ec and life skills. Okay? You have to understand, what is a career? What does that mean? What is your income / salary? What does that mean? Understand what taxes are. Okay? Understand, your debt to asset ratio. You have to buy a house. Are you sure that's the house that you want to purchase? Are you sure you want to upgrade to this house that costs 7 figures? Or whatever the most expensive house is. So let's look at that. And let's see how we can take the things that we learned in the game of life and adapt that to real life. Okay? You have piggy banks. There's a toy that you want. Okay? Do you have any debt? Like, did you break something that belonged to your siblings and now you need to replace it? You have to take that money out of your piggy bank. So how do we tie all of this together? And that's really what I do with the kids, to make sure that I am reinforcing the book work that they are going through. So now, with that being said, we have 2 things that we do. Charades we do every day. Charades. Why? It's a game, right? Right? No! So what do you have to do? It's logic, guys. Social skills. Critical thinking skills. Yes, it's acting out and it's fun, but you need to be able to look at the clues. Follow them. Connect them. Okay? To be able to determine what the answer is. What is that person trying to act out? So I've never really thought about charades as a critical thinking tool, to help the children. But that's what we're doing. So we literally start each school day with charades. Okay? And we do charades normally 2 to 3 times a day. And each charades is a break. Go. Snack break. When you come back, we'll do charades, and then we'll get back into the table work. And they love it. And so we've been doing that for 2 weeks now, and they are having a blast. But they don't realize that charades connects with the critical thinking work that we're doing, which connects with this. What's going on here? I love these cards. So I got this from Timberdoodle. Okay. This is the card that we did today. This is from Timberdoodle. Can you guys see that? And on the back, there are questions. So the purpose of this, yes, is critical thinking and also social skills. It's a conversation starter. Let's get the kids to look at the picture and try to figure out what's going on here. It's the name of the game. What's going on here? You know, and that's what we do. Well, how do you know? Okay, he's tired. How do you know he's tired? What evidence? Okay, let's look at the body language. What can you see? Is he standing? Is he sitting? Is he sweating? Does he look happy? Does he look sad? Does he look grumpy? Does he look impatient? Like what? Does he look proud? Let's look at all the clues and analyze it. And so we do these once or twice a week, because it does take about 10 to 20 minutes depending on the card. I think that has made learning a lot more fun for my family than what it was like last year. Last year, we're all kind of thrown in. We had my husband had some health issues last summer, like right at the beginning of the school year. And we didn't know how long we were going to be homeschooling. And now with everything that's been going on, we're probably going to be homeschooling a lot longer. So now we have more structure. Now I know how to make it more fun. Now I'm learning better how to gear each of these subjects and each of these assignments for my children. So with my son, I have to make sure I'm mixing a lot of fun stuff. Okay, you want to do that? Yes. No, I'm going to mix in some coloring. Okay, I'm going to mix in some drawing. And then I'll do a little bit of handwriting and, a little bit of, you circle the answer, true, false type thing, make matches. You know, I had to keep it mixed for him. With my daughter, I can do straight writing. Okay. It might take you longer, but I can do straight writing with you. Okay. Here are your questions. Answer them. Complete sentences in cursive, please. You know, so in any event, it's a lot homeschooling children on the spectrum. But I think what I have learned between last year and our first 2 weeks is keep it fun, keep it diverse, try to tie your subjects together, you know, to help reinforce a concept. Use a lot of visuals. You know, I handwrite a lot because we don't have a printer. And I honestly don't really have room in my schoolroom for a printer. We are in a small 10 by 10 bedroom. It is not big, guys. You know, but we make it work. And so I handwrite a lot. I have a whole board over here, guys, with notes. My daughter has a section. My son has a section that's lower because he's little. And so when he has, how do you count by fives again? Boom. Notes. How do you tell time again? Boom. Notes. Okay. So we have that, you know, for the kids. I have 2 more boards here. One with vocabulary at the top, one with notes at the bottom, you know. And then they have their personal bookcases. We have shared bookcases. We have curriculum all over there, and we have fun stuff over here. So it's a lot. Stay flexible, stay fun, diversify what you teach and how you teach it. And because you don't want them studying their head in books all day. That's no fun. I don't even want to do that. I got 2 degrees. I don't want to do that. You know, and enjoy and appreciate the time, and let them have breaks when they need it, you know. And that's something that I've started, you know, and it helps. And my son will be like, I need a wiggle break. Can I take a sensory break? Like, I need to do stretches. And then he'll go, I'm like, that's not really a stretch, but go for it, you know. But he knows he could take these breaks. I factor those breaks into their school time. And it helps them to get through the day without being overwhelmed. And I think that's really key when you have children who it's very easy for them to be emotionally stressed, you know, and have fun. That's what I say. Have fun. So I know I talked a lot, guys. There's a lot going on. I can't even tell you how many of these I've recorded, but this is the one you're getting. All right, guys, I will end out with pictures so you can kind of see what's going on, like how my homeschool room is set up and the kids and the work that they do. And y'all know the drill. We'll see you in the next video, okay? Bye.